Richard Jew.
I'm focused on Kamala Harris being our next president, us winning the Senate, holding the Senate, if not growing it, flipping the House, winning state legislatures and governor's mansions and some mayor's office. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not focused on trying to find ways to needle and pull down and take away from people who are trying to do that.
Richard Jew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs, is powered by ComEd. Visit ComEd.com/clean.
Out Chicago.
I'm a mess today.
Once you turned 50, I'd be hearing about this.
I know everything.
My
you were
spry when we started this show.
I'm
you had
still
a
spry-ish. I'm still spry-ish.
There's something about over 50 that we all fall victim to. It's just like, aches and pains. And
it's not so much that I'm losing hair. It's that it's slowly moving down my back and moving into different exciting places.
Catch Out Chicago every Sunday, 11 to 1 on WCPT 820.
The next couple months on WCPT will be the most important and exciting in the last 4 years. WCPT hosts will be sharing up-to-date information that our listeners need to know to make important decisions in November. Now is the ideal time for advertisers to share their message with the WCPT community. For more information about advertising on WCPT Radio, please contact General Sales Manager Steve Lessman. His email address is slessman@WCPT820.com.
This is a WCPT Moment in Labor. On October 6, 2023, the Chicago City Council voted to eliminate the sub-minimum wage for tipped employees working within Chicago. Sub-minimum wage is the wage paid for service industry employees, otherwise known as tip workers. Sub-minimum wage employees make less as it is, assume that consumers will cover the difference to put employees at or over the normal minimum wage. The One Fair Wage Ordinance will phase out the sub-minimum wage over a 5-year period starting July 1st, 2024. Several cities and states have eliminated sub-minimum wage, allowing tip workers to have a higher income. However, several restaurants are trying to fight against the ordinance by switching to self-serve, using third-party companies like DoorDash, or threatening to leave the Chicagoland area. More proof that the fight is never over. This has been a WCPT Moment in Labor. We are working for your rights.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
The following program, Collaboraction Radio, is sponsored by Collaboraction, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of Heartland Signal, LLC, or its management.
That is our opening sequence, actually produced by DJ Lady D. So she's a wonderful producer, I hear. Anyway, hello and welcome to Collaboraction Radio at the intersection of art, activism, and social change. I guess that's 6 corners. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on WCPT 820 AM, Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, and also streaming live on Facebook and WCPT.com. Available on demand at Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere you get your digital content. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Darlene Jackson, the CEO and Executive Director of Collaboraction. Yay. Collaboraction is a 28-year-old Emmy award-winning nonprofit whose mission is to build knowledge, empathy, dialogue, and action around oppression and inequity through live theater, film, radio, and we leverage the power of storytelling and community to cultivate positive social change. Yes, we need that. Collaboration Radio is sponsored by the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation. Today's episode of Collaboration Radio is sponsored by AV Chicago, Chicago's leading provider of AV production and event management services. Ask for our friend Jeremy and ask for a nonprofit discount if you are a nonprofit. So they're going to take great care of you. I use AV Chicago every chance that I can. Today's episode is also sponsored by Elevoke. Elevoke is a purpose-driven destination and event management company that seeks to become a trusted strategic ally to your business as they delight your audience and generate impactful outcomes. Visit elevoque.com, that's ELOVOQUE, to learn more and schedule a meeting with their team. After our show today, if you feel impassioned and you want to join the conversation, Collaboration Radio is made possible by donors and members like you. Email radio@collaboraction.org or go to www.collaboraction.org to learn more. So before we start our amazing interview with an amazing arts leader, let me give you a few news and updates. In case you haven't heard, Collaboration was a 2024 Emmy Award recipient for National News and Documentary. And that was along with our partner NBC Chicago for the lost story of Emmett Till, Then and Now. You can watch this on YouTube. It's the heart-wrenching story of what happened to a young person, a child, essentially, who took a trip to Mississippi and whose murder ended up kicking off the civil rights movement. His mother, Mamie Till, did a remarkable thing, leaving the casket open so everyone could see the monstrous things that had been done to her child. These transcripts from the murder case should have been filed with the clerk. They should have been available to the public, but they were hidden away for over 50 years. NBC5's Marion Brooks was the person who got Collaboration involved in this story and creating a stage adaptation of it. So go to YouTube and watch The Lost Story of Emmett Till, Then and Now, if you haven't seen it. Again, it is a very touching but crucial unearthing of some of the world's inequities, and one of the reasons why Collaboration exists. We're here to change things and open up the dialogue to have these difficult conversations so that we can grow together. All right, November 2nd is a day like no other. We are going to be hosting our annual Utopian Ball. It's a huge fundraiser for Collaboration, and tickets are very affordable. I was looking at some of the gala tickets these days, and they are way up there. But if you care about the work that we do and seeing it progress, seeing us touch as many neighborhoods and as many young people and as many patrons of the arts and creating new patrons of the arts, which is something that we try to do, definitely get a ticket or support with your membership. It is going to be at Venue West at 6 p.m. We're kicking off the festivities. We've got some great guests lined up. We've got some great food lined up. We've got some awesome entertainment lined up. So if you want to join us and support the Utopian Ball November 2nd, go to collaboraction.org. We are building a new house of belonging. That's one of the main reasons why we have to do the fundraising that we do. The new House of Belonging is at the Kimball Arts Center, and we've been a company without a home for a few years. It made sense during COVID. It no longer makes sense. We need to build community, and we need a space to do it in. And we found an awesome space. We found an awesome space at the Kimball Arts Center. And if you choose to support us by becoming a Collaborativist, even at the $1 a month level, you will be doing something that creates positive social change in Chicago. And we couldn't ask for more than that. So please support us in our endeavor to build a new House of Belonging at the Kimball Arts Center. And that probably does it for our announcements today. So we're going to get into this conversation. If you're listening live, you can call in at 773-763-WCPT. That's 773-763-9278. And if you have any questions or things you just want to share with us as we get into this conversation, here we go. Today's guest is Clintina Taylor. Clintina is the Director of Operations and Finance at the Ruth Page Center for the Arts. The Ruth Page Center for the Arts is an incubator of artistic energy, the center of Chicago's dance history, so to speak. The Ruth Page Center for the Arts carries forward the mission and vision of its founder, legendary dance icon Ruth Page, to be a platform for developing great artists and connecting them with audiences and community. With a focus on dance as a critical art form, its programming ensures that children and dance artists have a place to train, work, and perform at the highest level of excellence. And the Ruth Page Center provides world-class dance and fitness classes for people of all ages and abilities. It's a 218-seat theater for professional dance and theatrical performances. Office spaces for in-residence arts organizations, and subsidized studio and theater rentals for nonprofit performing arts companies. So, let's talk to Clintina Taylor. Clintina, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. You are the Director of Operations and Finance. As an Operations and Finance Director, you have a pivotal role within the organization. You're responsible for the flow of operations, for financial information to the Executive Director and Ruth Page's Center's Board of Directors. You assist in setting and implementing policy, procedure, and strategic and budget goals. And you've filled various management roles in the nonprofit sector, most recently as Director of Operations and a business manager for the YMCA of Metropolitan Chicago.
Yes.
But you've worked for Ruth Page Center for the Arts since 2011, and you continue to be passionate about creating a welcoming workspace that is fair and friendly. I love that. Can't ask for more than that. Welcome to Collaboraction Radio.
Thanks for having me. I think that the work in the arts is a very important job for those that have to do it or that want to do it,
are compelled to do it. You're called to do it, right? It's a little bit of a calling, would you say?
I think so. I think that you start off at the beginning not truly knowing what the nonprofit organization is all about. I did hear someone on your radio show before saying, like, why do they call it nonprofit? It's like, we are doing, good work. Why is it called not nonprofit? But I think, though, when I think about his rant, as he called it, is that it's like they call it nonprofit because we very rarely make the money that we need, as you guys know, with Collaborations having their campaign to build their new space or find a space for you. We also are always finding ourselves, looking for and applying for the funds and the profits, to keep our organizations afloat.
Yes. I understand that, it can be a tough time at times. At one point, what kind of challenges have you seen the Ruth Page Center for the Arts go through as you try to stay afloat?
I think, well, just recently, we rely on the grants that we apply for every year. There is sometimes the time when we get the response that we did not receive the money that we thought. And similarly, with a lot of organizations, I'm sure with the city of Chicago having to cut their budget by, I think, over $4 million, which kind of impacted a lot of the organizations who had went out, for that city arts grant funds.
Right.
And so it just makes it that much important for the people that kind of like are the patrons of the arts to support us, to come to our shows, or to donate that $1 a month. Everything makes a difference. But our struggles, though, have been really, us arts organizations kind of vying for the same pool of funds, and trying to seek out new funding opportunities, figure out what is a way that we can increase our donorship, and people who at this point in time are also suffering because of all of the economic stressors that's going on in the world today. But we try to figure out things that we can do to increase community awareness, make people just want to come and see a show. And because we are a nonprofit, we do that at a very low rate, so that we can provide access to those who don't otherwise have it. But for Ruth Page Center specifically, it has been, with regards to dance schools, our challenges have been, we have a lot of new schools that are starting, right? And thankfully so, because, dance and the arts in general provide really an outlet for those who maybe are not into the sports or academics, even for that matter. But we are struggling with, I think, post-COVID, and I hate to even say it, but because it's like, okay, COVID again,
right?
But
COVID changed the world.
It really did, and especially for dance organizations, because we tried to make that pivot and do dance class online, and it's hard.
It's hard.
And so, but though after that, what we're finding though is that during COVID, because one of our programs, which our pre-dance program, we have a dance school within our building that's housed within our building, is that we have a pre-dance program. So it starts at age 3. When we are finding that we have lower enrollment. And it's kind of due to COVID, because not that many people were having children. And I'm not trying to be in people's reproductive, I was like,
right.
That's not what I'm doing here. But we just have less smaller children that were born. So, and then we have an oversaturation of schools. So it's just like, people are not sending their kids out the way that they used to.
Wow.
So that's something.
That's an
really
interesting insight. And, who knew that COVID, would strike in that way? While we were all sheltering in place, people were sleeping with back to back.
Right. Okay. Not on my watch.
Wow. So you're impacted from the bottom up, but also from the top down, and that's you're caught between a rock and a hard place. What kind of interesting things are you doing programmatically to increase the community there?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked that, though, because we are also entering a foundation, our Founders Day campaign, where we work to raise funds that benefits the Ruth Page's The Nutcracker, which people may not know. It's the oldest Nutcracker in Chicago.
Say it again.
The oldest. 1965. Airy Crown old.
I went to see the Ruth Page Nutcracker at Airy Crown when I was a child, and probably changed my life because, shortly thereafter I got involved in the dramatic arts, and so I was part of a I guess theater group, for lack of a better word, called the Jack and Jill Players. That's an old historical group. They don't exist anymore, but they did exist for a long time. But the fact that they're not around anymore and had been thriving for, years and years and years, it really shows you how precarious the world of the arts is. Like, you could be a household name, and 20 years, nobody knows who you are. And so it is important to keep supporting the arts, because what I've studied about the arts is that young people who get involved in the arts are 4 times more likely to excel in school and 3 times more likely to win some sort of attendance award. And so if you are having problems getting kids to care about school, give them the arts. Bring the arts in. It actually enhances the experience of a quality education and has the brains thinking in a different way, so that they, really start to enjoy just the environment as a whole. And so don't downplay the arts. But Ruth Page's Nutcracker is the oldest Nutcracker. I love that.
Yeah, it's the oldest Nutcracker, and even though we no longer perform at the scale at which we performed in 1965, up until now, our friends at Joffrey now really, have I guess a stronghold on that in the city now. However, but we and our board had vowed that they will continue to produce this, because it is very interesting, our Nutcracker, because we truly use our students who are in our Young Dancers Training Program and in our Professional Dance Training Program. We use some of our adult students as cast. We also audition, and we really look to employ the dancers in the Chicago community.
Excellent.
So it really is a community show, a community performance, and that's why our board thinks it is really important for us to keep that that tradition going, and because of that, it is really expensive to put on a production, and I know you guys at Collaboraction know.
Yes.
So we kind of rely on our community for donations and things like that, like with you guys with AV Chicago, who works with all of the nonprofits. I feel like, AV Chicago, Grand Stage, shout out to all of them that really, provide a service to us as well in order for us to, to produce our shows.
I was a Sugar Plum Fairy, and if you need a 5'2 3/4" Sugar Plum Fairy, I would love to come audition.
We are looking for a Snow King, so
okay.
Like if you want to put on some white tights, we'll take that too. But we put on a performance, and we are in the Chicagoland area this year. Which is new for us, that we're going out to University Park, Illinois. We're going to be performing at Governor State University.
Excellent. Do you know when that is?
The Performing Center of the Arts. Yes. So our first performance, November, it's during Thanksgiving, so it's like Christmas is early.
That's okay.
Yeah, so we'll be out at Governor State, the Center of Performing Arts, at the end of November. We're doing 3 shows out there. Something is also interesting with our shows, like I said, is that we try to bring in the community. We had an audition actually out in Alsip, and we get our soldiers for the big battle, the Mouse King battle. We get our soldiers from the community in which we perform.
Okay.
So
beautiful.
So we are at Northeastern. Northeastern University, and then we also go out to College of Lake County, where we also use the soldiers from that area. From that area. And it's just really a nice way to bring people in during the holiday time, and it is something that we it's something that we will forever do. As long as Ruth Page is around for the 53 years that we've been here, we will continue to do Ruth Page's The Nutcracker.
That's outstanding. Congratulations on 53 years.
Yes.
I think it's wonderful. That's one of the things that Collaboraction does so well, is take theater into communities where they may be underserved by theater and other arts activities. And so going into the far south suburbs or going into the far west suburbs, or, to bring dance and enjoyment and entertainment, but also bringing in people who are in that ecosystem into that performance is also very commendable. So
it's something that we really look forward to. And so because of that, and because of the shortfall that we were having because of putting on this large production, we started our Founders Day, and it's a multi-day campaign that kind of celebrates the founders of our school.
Who are the founders of your school?
So Ruth Page herself, of the organization, and Larry Long and Mrs. Dolores Lipinski Long, who they were married and met dancing for Ruth Page.
Wonderful.
And
that's a love story I'd like to see.
We'll talk. We have an event actually that's coming up during our Founders Day campaign.
Tell us about it.
It's called Tea with Dolores.
Okay.
And when I say it's tea, I mean
she spills a piping hot tea.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
Dolores.
Yes. Okay.
I might have to try to go to that.
Lawsuit hot.
So tell us about that the Founders Day week or Founders Week.
Yeah. So our Founders Day campaign, it kicks off on Friday, October 17th.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah. So we have, we're doing our first kind of taster preview at Floratica. And it's Floratica, French. Floratica.
Okay.
And
like flower.
Yeah. So we were invited, our professional training program was invited there, so they're going to do a little teaser of their work that they're going to premiere at our fall show on Friday, October 18th. That's at 7 p.m. So this is kind of like we invite the community also to perform on stage with our students and with our training program, and we kick off this Founders Day event schedule there. So we have a post.
So people in the audience can get on stage and dance?
Oh, no. Well, you can watch.
Oh, okay.
No, but we invite other dance companies in the community.
You keep squashing my dreams. All right, go ahead.
It's almost. Okay. But you should probably come on. We are looking for a couple of maids for the Nutcracker. You
can put on.
Yes.
You know what? I might do it.
Yes. So we have that's kind of kicks off the campaign. It's a beautiful performance, a one evening engagement with just some friends and other performers from the community. Some of our own artists in residence that are in our building will perform with us. Gus Giordano 2, they'll perform with us. Joffrey Academy, School Academy, I think is now Granger. The Joffrey Academy, they are also performing with us on stage that night. So it's just a beautiful night and a culmination of when we announce our campaign. We also have a big event on Sunday with one of our community partners. The Day of Dance Health is hosted by the Chicago Dance Health Fund, formerly Dance for Life. They put on Dance for Life every year. It's a great organization, but we are hosting their Day of Dance Health at Ruth Page.
What can you do there?
Oh, well, there's going to be a community ballet class, and there's going to be health
screenings.
Health screenings, yes.
Awesome.
And you'll get to see physical therapists, and it's all free. All free.
Listen.
So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so it's for the dance community.
So they can come to the Center for the Arts at where are you located?
Yeah, so we're at 1016. We're in the Gold Coast, 1016 North Dearborn Street. We're saddled up between Maple and Oak on Dearborn. It's we're accessible by the train, plane, bus, automobile. So we're really easy to get to, but it is a community event that we look forward to hosting, and always working with other arts organizations to kind of get the access that people need, whether it is just arts, but health and that also.
Yeah.
And so it's a really important day.
So this is all free.
Free. Yes.
Wonderful.
All free. We also, as part of our gift to other communities and that type of thing, is that we provide this space for the Chicago Dance Health Fund. We provide that space for them in kind, because they are doing such a wonderful service for the community, for dancers that wouldn't otherwise have access to health care. So it's something that we really, I guess, thrive on at Ruth Page, is kind of like pouring back into the people that pour into us.
Sure.
So this Founders Day campaign is kind of like sporadic little gifts back to our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the hopes of raising some funds.
Okay, so I'm going to come take the ballet class, then I'm going to get my health screening, and then a little PT.
Yes.
I love that. Physical therapy? Yeah. A little massage or something?
Yes, because they are with Shirley Ryan Ability Labs. They are providing the health screenings. I think they are also... I believe they are also paired with Howard Brown, so they also have reached out to some really,
so outreach.
Really players.
We all have to support each other. In my conversation last week, we were talking about ways that nonprofits can support other nonprofits.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that first we have to. I think we probably have to get out of the thought that it's a competition, right? I think that everybody has a space here in Chicago, no matter what your line of business is, and I think that it is important for you to think that, we're all like starting from the same line, the line, and like everybody's starting from the same space, and then move forward and knowing how, possibly some, program that we may want to do that you guys are already doing, and it is something like, to reach out and say, oh, hey, we had this idea, but we know that you're already doing it. We'd love to extend or offer our help, instead of us recreating
the wheel.
It doesn't make any sense for us to run a Collaboraction style, program when Collaboraction is already doing it.
Right.
But what if we at Ruth Page could provide some of our dancers? What if we could, provide some of our accompanists? Because we still have live accompaniment at Ruth Page. What can we do to make all of our organizations here successful?
Yes.
And I think that is something that Ruth Page, while I've been there, really look forward to doing.
Yeah, those opportunities.
Friendships.
Yes, partnerships, partners, friends, relationships, building relationships among the artistic partners that are not necessarily in your wheelhouse, but expanding it so it's not as siloed as it has been in the past.
Yeah, I think it also would build a much robust when you're looking for funding and that type of thing, and to be able to say that you are, it's in your name, but that you're actually collaborating with other arts organizations. And it's something that we really value at Ruth Page. And I know that for a long time that wasn't the case, but for us now, we have a new executive director. and she really believes in, the same thing I believe in, like welcoming people, reaching, as they say, across the aisle.
Yes, right.
In politics, but, to propel what we believe is important in everyday lives. We have a great director of our school who is, supreme when it comes to bringing in the community, amplifying our Latinx community. He is from Cuba himself, and so he's really worked hard to empower that the community from which he comes.
Yes.
And so it has really been a joint effort by all of us to kind of make everybody feel welcome.
I do have a question about your exchange program, or do you have something? You have something like that. I know you have dancers and you have artists in residence.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about some of the work you do even outside of this country.
Yes. So we have an international exchange program. We have our international sister schools in Cuba, Italy, Israel, Colombia as well. We started going to Cuba, though, originally in 2015, where we would take a group of our dancers from Ruth Page for them to train and dance with students at the National Ballet School in Cuba, in Havana, Cuba. And then in turn, we would bring their students to our program in the summer to train with our teachers. And a lot of people don't know, though, was that when Ruth Page was still alive, she was one of the first American dancers to perform also in Cuba with Alicia Alonso. So we kind of have this
That's a rich history,
long love affair with the country. And that's something that our director of our school, Victor Alexander, is really passionate about. So we started with Cuba. Every time we have an inaugural a program in the country, we bring along a tour group. So first it was Cuba, and then move on down the line. We are now this year, 2024. I went on our first site visit to Santiago, Chile. Victor is going actually there in November to work on solidifying our new exchange with Escuela Moderna de Música y Danza. I think this is the name of the school.
Wonderful.
but we will be
the Modern School of Music and Dance.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Look at you.
Translation.
Okay, my Spanish.
Kicked in.
And so we will be building a program with them where we'll be doing the same. But this year we are going to be doing it with our older dance program, our professional training program. So this is new for us, and where we are taking our training program students to Santiago, Chile, and they will put on a work with another school there. They will perform at the National Theater, or
one experience.
In Santiago, we've had we'll bring some of our teachers. They'll bring some of theirs. So it's really a wonderful program. And then this year we are also because it's like our inaugural location, we'll be doing a tour actually there. So if you guys want to go in this office here, it's April 12th through the 20th, and you'll go along, with our group. You'll get to see performance art. You'll get to go to some vineyards. Try some wonderful Chilean wine.
Wow.
Food, and kind of see firsthand how we start our cultural exchange programs.
Cultural exchange is huge, and I think that it really helps the tourism, for Chicago, but also, just getting that sort of immersion into a different culture, different lifestyles is, I think, that type of exposure, even early on. I know you're doing your professional troupe, but for like your young dancers or your dancers in training, I bet that those types of experiences are invaluable.
Oh, it truly has been, with all of our groups that we take, and to this day, we still have a lot of the students that we've brought in from Italy and from Israel and from Colombia. I mean, they're still friends to this day.
Beautiful.
And so it is really...
So you're breaking down barriers.
Yeah. Yes. And mind you, a lot of them, depending on which country they're coming from, they don't speak any English, so dance is truly like a universal language,
right.
I mean, I guess...
It's another form of communication.
Yes.
That is truly beautiful. I love the idea of people not even being able to use their words, but being able to speak through movement.
Oh yeah, it's really amazing, and it's just coming from someone who I am not a dancer. I appreciate it. It's one of those things too where you touched on earlier is that creating a patron of the arts is like, it's not all the time the people that come through Ruth Page's doors, they may not grow up to be professional dancers, but they will grow up to be a patron of the arts, right? We have a lot of people who dance professionally who are now our executive director, for instance, who dance professionally but is now a lawyer and an executive director of an arts organization. And another one of our students who was, dance actually for Joffrey, and she's a physical therapist now. We will always have dance that kind of, like you said, that are producing good stewards of the world and giving back, and it's all because of the arts.
Yes.
I think.
I think so too. I really do. Every year, as I talked about, we are having our annual fundraiser in November. Does Ruth Page do something? Yes.
Yeah. So every year we have our annual gala. Next year will be May 31st. So as we vie, like for Chicago, the Shy Summer Wedding season.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah. So we actually just this year, which was really monumental for us, because we brought our annual fundraiser back into our neighborhood. And so we paired with Newberry Library.
Okay.
And that's where we have our event this year, and we will have it again next year. May 31st, 2025 will also be at Newberry Library, which is also a community partner with us. They have a lot of Ruth Page's archival and historical information, and it was just really only natural that we,
you guys are just footsteps away from each other.
Yes. So now we have our performance. We used to be at Chicago, the Union League Club of Chicago, and while it was really lovely and the people really treated us well there, and the food is really good, truly it is. But now, but we thought that as we made a pivot with, like I said, our new executive director, and with Victor and myself kind of like at the helm along with all of our other, staff, that we really want to pour back into our community, right? And what better way to do that than to to support the people who are
among you.
Yes. Yeah. So it is something that we've been doing every year for the past 13 years, actually.
Wow.
So for the past 13 years, but we are glad, though, to bring that back to Newberry.
What
Library.
Can people expect if they went to the Ruth Page Gala?
Well, let me tell you. So we are a good time. I don't know. I mean, I have also been to a Collaboraction gala as well, and there's nobody who parties like the arts.
Yes.
Really, and maybe teachers. The two groups that know how to party, I think it's artists and teachers.
Okay.
But at our gala, we showcase really what we do best is produce artists. We showcase our staff. Our staff are working, so you'll get to meet us, just like not on a professional level, but also a social level, which is really nice to kind of see the people you see day in and day out kind of let their hair down.
Yes.
And we also, which is an important component for all galas, and I say that to your audience as well, since yours is coming up November 2nd, correct?
Yes.
Is that when you're invited to these things, it is for you to give some money. So you can expect to give, to be able to, to give what you can. And I will also like to say, though, too, it is not always important. While cash is definitely king, we also truly believe in volunteerism. Is something that I really carried over from my days working at the YMCA.
Yes.
Is that your time is also just, if not more, valuable. So, like sometimes when people are going to these are these annual fundraisers, it is important to know that if you cannot give from the bank, from your bank account, right, that you can give of yourself. And we are really thankful, for our volunteers that we have, at our front desk, that really kind of help move our mission forward, and it's not always dependent upon money, on funds. But when you come to our gala, you're coming to have a good time and you're eating good food, because that's what I'm in charge of.
Yes, yes. It is about, some places don't have great food, and I have to tell you, yours and mine has great food.
I'm telling you,
it's worth that ticket price.
It's worth the ticket price. Yes, it's like you cannot. I've been to a mini gala.
And
yes,
right
north of I won't say the ticket prices, but however, that I'm like, the least you could do.
The least you can do
is give us some good food and drink.
So some good food, some good entertainment.
Yes.
So as we walk into this new season, and things are tight. It's an election year. That's having an impact. I think, as you said, people are being a little more cautious, a little more holding their cards to the chest. What compelling statement can you make about the work that you do and the significance of it to sort of ease people's minds as to what their ROI is going to be for actually getting more involved, whether that be financially or as a volunteer? Because bad times don't last long. And we'll remember you when we have more, right? But this is the time where we really, really need you. So what can you say that's going to compel people?
What I say is, I don't know how compelling it's going to be, but but I really think that it is important to just support your neighborhood arts organizations, and whether that is, just by dropping into the building, So you would not believe how many people that walk back and forth daily past Ruth Page, and they say, "Oh, I didn't even know this place was still here." So even just walking in shows an interest, and having a conversation shows an interest. And I think that for me, I'm thinking if you just keep some type of proximity towards the arts, that is, I think that speaks volumes, right? Like beyond the money, beyond the time, because we have to meet you and meet everybody where they're at. So maybe you're not at the financial part yet. Maybe you're also not at the giving of your time just yet. But if you're just also willing to have a conversation about the art, come in, stop in, tell us your stories about how you used to dance or how you used to act. Or
I took dance lessons with Larry Long.
See, and
adult ballet.
Yes.
I wanted to. I was like, I miss dance so much. And
you should come back.
I will.
Yes,
I will.
You should come back. I mean, I think that we have students from the age of 3 to 83, come in and take a class. And it is also something that that's so great. Like, do the 83-year-old students get to meet the 3-year-old students? Is it a little intergenerational sometimes? Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it really is. It is really something that we kind of are really happy about, is that, like when we have people in our building, they are coming in during the time they're having classes and they're passing those pre-dance kids, or they're passing the teens.
Yeah.
The teens are not paying any attention to them, no. But they are able to really, I can, see what's going on in our building. So I say, just stop by. Stop by your neighborhood organization.
That's the first step.
That is the first step. Just walk in. I mean, in some buildings, I guess you can't for safety reasons, but but just stop in and say, hey, I live in your neighborhood. I hear the music, or I hear the acting. I see the lights coming in and out. I think just it starts with just being interested, showing some interest in the arts. And so I think that's what I would tell people. If you're in our neighborhood and you've always wanted to know what's in that building, go into the building.
Yeah.
If you go by and you see a lot of kids in and out of somewhere, and you're wondering, I wonder, what programs are they doing?
There,
what happens there? It's just go in.
Right.
Go in and ask.
Even if you don't know for yourself that you would want to take part, but maybe just having that information, you can share it with somebody else who you're having a conversation with, and they might say, I've been wanting to do a dance class or an exercise class, because you also do exercise classes.
We have Pilates, right? And one of our, really, I cannot speak more about Julie Schiller Daly. She has Pilates practice, and she's been in our building for years. She is a Ramana Pilates girl. So, this is, if you want Ramana, this is what you get. But she's been in the building, and she also, so even with her running her organization, Pilates practice in our building, she also gives back to us by teaching for us for free, actually. She teaches a class, our Pilates class for us, so you have Pilates. We have Victor, actually, the director of our school, who teaches Afro-Cuban. So we have really great classes. Jazz with Julie Berman, and she's had a huge following all of her career with dancing with Hubbard Street and everything. We have like a star-studded cast, right, in this building, and so that
gets me excited.
Yes.
That's where I start to go, oh my God, I need to go take that Pilates class, and oh my gosh, I can do Afro-Cuban, and wow, somebody from Joffrey or might be my teacher.
Yes, it's really that's in our building, really. We are open to all. We are open to everyone at any level. We have beginner, basic, adult, even if you're a teen just starting out. We have ongoing enrollment, so you can come at any time. Which is really
that's different,
important, and try it out. That's all I say. We have point, we have jazz, we have character. Like I said earlier, we have live accompaniment, which is really, really lovely for building musicality and that type of thing. And we have accompanists who are also looking to teach people piano, if that's something that you're interested in. So it's really, we're kind of like a one-stop shop. We have other dance companies in our other organizations. We have Dance Works Chicago.
Yeah,
we have
tell us about
Giordano.
that. Because you subsidize space for other companies.
For other organizations. We have an in-residence program where we provide office space and studio space to other small to mid-size organizations. And now, I mean, the organizations that are in our building are really Chicago mainstays, you know, Chicago Porchlight, our Porchlight Musical Theater is Music Theater is in our building. Hedwig dances. They are in our building. Dance Works Chicago, Giordano, also are in our building, and like Pilates Practice. And so we have a really great group of organizations that we see, you know, moving forward, practicing their art, getting prepared for their shows.
Exactly.
As well. And in addition to that, though, we also have a subsidized theater program. So we provide subsidized theater costs. You know, we subsidize the price of theater to those who would not otherwise be able to afford it. We just hosted Harvest Day in Chicago. We had Asian Improv Arts in the building. Wonderful. Just recently, and so we really look for and welcome organizations that are looking to have and build their own studio audiences. You know, and sometimes, or you know, our performance audience. Is that we have a small theater, 218 seats, but we provide a technical director, we have a box office. While we don't run it, but we provide the space.
Right.
And, you know, we really try to do our part. We have a community engagement coordinator, Katie, who works with really reaching out to try to
bring people in.
Yeah, to get people in, and we advertise on the street, you know, and that type of thing. So we really try to extend, you know,
sound like
our
an
tentacles
excellent partner.
Yeah, we try to extend our tentacles outward. Yes.
I think that's pretty amazing, because people probably think because you house so many different organizations that you wouldn't be having any issues financially, but that, you know, they don't. I think that's important to stress, that you guys are subsidizing space and giving them a place in which to create and perpetrate to perpetuate their arts. And so so that's important to know. So that's why Ruth Page Foundation and Ruth Page Center for the Arts needs your help, needs your support, and needs you to come to the table with just a little bit of coin. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know that we're going to partner on something in the future. I know that deep in my heart. But that's been our show, and it's been wonderful having Clintina Taylor, the Director of Operations and Finance for Ruth Page Center for the Arts, and you can go to ruthpage.org for all things programmatic.
Yes, all things Ruth Page. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you all for joining us, and have a great week.
Yes.